on the show today, Yogi Bryan. So this guy I've been following on Instagram and loving it. People kept mentioning him, saying, "You're going to fucking love this guy. You have to follow Yogi Bryan. You have to follow Yogi Bryan." And he also has the best t-shirts in the world. Yoga teacher, meditation teacher, NLP, does retreats. There's a few things, known for his potty mouth. And Bryan, welcome to the fucking show.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for fucking having me. I really appreciate it, Mark. Thanks for having me on.
It's kind of your thing, swearing, but I've been doing this for a while as well, the whole swearing thing. So I just want to warn listeners, there could be quite a lot of what respectable people call profanity in this episode. And, if you're my listener, you'll know by now that's how we roll. So don't worry about it. But Bryan, how did you get into what you do now? What was your route in?
Yeah, so it actually started on accident. Back in 2016, I started an Instagram account to make fun of yoga. And I just, I didn't know really much about yoga. I had dabbled before with Kundalini and Bikram prior to that, but nothing like too seriously. So I started this Instagram account 2016, and I was just like, I'm going to make fun of yoga because I saw one of my friends doing a yoga challenge, and she was posting yoga pictures on her kitchen table, on her bed, all over her house. It was for her yoga studio that she was at. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I can make fun of yoga. I can do yoga poses on my kitchen table on top of the fridge, like whatnot. So I created this account, and within like a couple of weeks, it started to get popular. I was making up my own poses, and I felt like I should join a yoga studio to practice yoga, to make fun of yoga more on my Instagram account. And then I started to fall in love with the practice. At the time, I was going through divorce, so it was really shitty divorce, child custody stuff. And I found out that yoga was like really helping me deal with like all my emotions, the anger. Also, I was losing weight. I started loving the practice. So I joined a yoga teacher training at that same studio, and everything like just fell into place. I became a teacher at that studio. Like one of my first classes I taught in yoga teacher training was in front of like 200 people. So it was just like meant to be. And one of my teachers that I watch online, Brian Kest, he said his teacher told him, if you practice yoga, the universe takes care of the rest. And that's been true for me. If I practice yoga, if I do meditation, the universe just takes care of the rest for me. Everything falls into place. So fast forward to 2019, I wanted to start a meditation practice. I had been teaching yoga since 2017, practicing yoga since 2016. I'm like, 2019, I'm just going to start a meditation practice. I committed to 90 days of meditation, and I haven't stopped meditating since. I got into neurolinguistic programming, got into hypnosis. So yeah, that's just it's kind of the start of the journey.
No, and what about the rest of your life before that then? That still leaves a chunk. I mean, what were you in your past life?
Oh yeah, so I grew up playing competitive golf. Since I was like the age of 12, that's all I did. My parents would drop me off at the course. I really didn't have any social life. Like golf was life. They would drop me off there. I would practice from after school until late at night. They would drop me off on the weekends, and that's all I did. I wanted to be a pro golfer. I ended up playing golf my freshman year for New Mexico State Division I. And I got a little burned out from golf because it was just like my life. So I got a little burned out. I wanted a social life. But golf was like my first start into mindfulness, because at a certain level, everybody can hit the ball the same as you. Everybody can hit it as far as you. But it's like your mind, how much better can you think than your opponent? So I got really into self-help, read a lot of self-help books, a lot of like mindfulness, because, one of the things I had to tell myself over and over again is stay in the present, commit to the process in golf. So it's like, stay in the present, commit to the process, stay in the present of like what shot I'm on, and then commit to the process of what shot I'm on next, instead of worrying about the last shot, worrying about what I fucked up on the last hole, or worrying about, hey, I'm in the lead, I'm nervous, worrying about the future. So that really got me started with mindfulness and got me started with where my practice is today. So golf was like a huge part of my life. I still practice, I still play, but not as much.
Yeah, we had a golf pro on a long time ago called Jamie Zimron, who was doing the sort of Zen of golf, meditation of golf,
Oh,
Aikido
nice.
golf, and there's a whole kind of body work out there. So I assumed you were a yoga teacher who just kind of, was sweary naturally and just started bringing that authentically in. But you actually started by taking the piss. You started
Yeah.
with a joke and then accidentally discovered, like, wow, this is a great practice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I had no intentions of ever becoming a yoga teacher, being a meditation guide, or doing what I'm doing now. I had no intentions of that. It just was an accident that, I tell people, if you start fucking with yoga, if you dabble with yoga, if you practice yoga a little bit, like, it's such a powerful practice that it'll take you on. Like, the rabbit holes will open, the doors will open, and it'll completely transform your life. So I tell people, just starting yoga, like, if you just fuck with it a little bit, like, you don't have to get too serious into it. It will change your life.
I agree. Why do yogis take themselves so seriously? So I first realized this, I went to yoga years ago, particularly in the little town where I was. It was kind of casual. My mum did a bit of yoga, and there was sort of a few flavors of serious. There was this sort of old ladies that did Iyengar in England in church halls who were, really taking their practice very seriously. And then there came the sort of spiritual babes who, kind of had the spiritual voice. And often they was kind of hyper sexualized while pretending they weren't. And then the sort of, more new agey kind of side of things. And there's a few flavors, but they all seem to take themselves very, very seriously. And I remember when JP Spears came along, I did a video years ago called Are You a Spiritual Wanker? And I think that helped inspire JP Spears, because right about the same time he was just starting to do his comedy stuff. And it seemed like when JP came along, it really seemed like it needed the fun poking at it. And people reacted quite aggressively to JP at first, and then gradually the kind of yoga community got the joke is going to have that. But why so serious in yoga?
Yeah, I like, maybe because it is a serious practice. Like, I get that it's a serious practice and it can change lives and transform lives. What like bothers me about the seriousness is like the competitiveness, or like the I'm better than you. Like, I practice yoga and I can do all these awesome asanas and I'm better than fucking you. Or like, you're not welcome because you can't do it as good as me. That type of shit. It's like, I love if people take their practice seriously, but like, come on, it's just fucking yoga. And that's like my motto about it. It's just fucking yoga. It's just fucking life. Like, we got to have fun with this practice. Like, why do it if it's so serious and like you're so rigid and competitive and want to be better than someone else? So it's like, I love, but I love when people take it seriously, but have like a good sense of humor about it. It's like, yeah, this is life changing. This is powerful, but it's just fucking yoga at the end of the day. Like,
is that one of your great t-shirts? It's just fucking yoga.
Yeah.
Where do we get your great t-shirts, Yogi Bryan? Like,
thank you.
You've got the best t-shirts. People keep saying they're going to send them to me for Christmas, so I'm waiting. But yeah,
I appreciate it. Yeah, yogibryanshop.com, yogibryanshop.com. Okay. That's where all the merch is at.
Normally I ask people to plug their stuff at the end, but you know what? I think the t-shirts deserve a second plug.
Thank you.
They are very good, and I definitely would buy some. And I guess it's, people take themselves seriously rather than the practice. And the other, something about confusing form and appearance, right? Like, okay, my yoga teacher, or equally my Aikido teacher, my whatever teacher, I've seen this elsewhere too. It kind of like this, so I'm going to dress up like them. It becomes a kind of act, an impersonation, rather than just saying, hey, you can take the practice seriously. And it was interesting when I first sort of someone pointed to you, I was like, okay, great. The guy swears, he's got tattoos. It's a nice gimmick, I thought. And then I listened to a couple of the meditations. And I was like, oh, these are solid. Like, this guy's doing good practice. He's using the word fuck repeatedly, but this is, I can totally do this meditation. I'd be quite happy to have this as a guided meditation. And I wonder if, tell us about the swearing. Is it just sort of a brand thing? It's kind of fun. Did you just want to have something to stand out? Like, I mean, I swear too, right? Like, when I was swearing and coaching, people would say, why are you swearing? I'm like, this is just how I fucking talk. This is how I talk to my friends. Like, I'm not talking differently. What was it with you that kind of made you kind of focus in on that?
Yeah, so I grew up. My mom she swears nonstop. I mean, she doesn't like what I do now as much. She's like, you got to tone it down a little bit. But like growing up, she was just cursing all the time. So that's how we grew up. Like we just talk like that. It's normal, natural. And when I was actually learning meditation, learning hypnosis, like my teacher, Dr. David Snyder, shout out to him, he's awesome. He curses, and it's scientific. Like whenever I drop an F bomb right at the beginning of my video, like your conscious mind is like, holy fuck, what? And then it opens it up to your unconscious mind to like, get the suggestions in there, like get the affirmations in there. So it is a little scientific that way. And it's also me. I love the word fuck. And I feel like it just pauses people when I'm like, hey, fuckers, hey,
Yeah.
like, whoa, I'm going to stop because, I've heard our attention span is like 3 seconds. If you're not getting someone in 3 seconds, that's how it is these days. It used to be longer in the past. And it's like, if you don't get someone on attention, especially social media, it's like, you're not going to hear the fucking awesome message I'm trying to help you out with to release your fucks or to relax or be mindful. So it's a different form of mindfulness. A lot of people are like, oh, I can't meditate or I can't sit still. It's like, I said, hey, fucker, let's take one deep breath. And you did that. Awesome. Like that's all you need to do.
I could jump in. Like one thing I noticed is it made me pay attention. It opened me up. Even as someone who's pretty, I grew up in an Irish household, right? So I'm used to swearing. People that said, you speak that way at home. They'd say at school and say, of course we fucking do. But so it wasn't a shock to me, but there was something about the sort of, hey, fuckers, that kind of was like, okay. It was like a gentle slap to kind of bring to attention. A freshness to it is kind of how I felt. And also it is a super versatile word. One of my favorites is I pretend it's Sanskrit. I make people do the ancient mantra, fuck it.
Yes, awesome.
And people say far, they think they're doing a mantra, and then I add the kit and they realize what's going on. But it is a versatile word in that it has power. And let's talk about fuck more, because it's like, you can be a motherfucker, which is bad. You can say fuck it, which is like let go of attachment, right? Like I give no fucks, like I'm, equanimous, I'm letting go. It's like I really fucking care. It can be about passion. Like there's so many ways you can go with this word. There's a great YouTube video on the versatility of the word, right? Like it is almost linguistically unique.
It's great. It's such a great word. Like you said, so many different contexts to it. And, I love like the intentions behind it too. It's like, who fucking cares? It's like that intention is like to relax, let go. But it can be like, that just like any word, whatever intention you put behind it can be like, oh, whoa, like I'm not resonating with that. So it's like, I get that all the time. It's like, oh, why do you curse? This isn't yoga. Well, it's like, it's my fucking intention. Like I'm trying to help the world release fucks. Like I'm trying to do something good here. I'm not trying to hurt people or harm people with the word fuck, which you can harm people with the word fuck depending on your intention. So I love the versatility of that word. It's my favorite word. I use it quite a bit, but yeah, it's the intention behind it, I feel. What do you think?
That's how I grew up. Like when you say, hey, fuckers, it's warm. It's welcoming. I don't feel like this guy hates me. I feel like, hey, welcome to the party. Like, hey, fuckers. Like for me, it's almost like a kind of acknowledgement of like, hey, I'm imperfect. You're imperfect. Let's go. That's kind of how it lands with me. And my friends grew up calling each other motherfuckers and fuck this and you fucker, you twat. We go full cunt sometimes as well. Yeah.
I love it.
We go full
calling the friends fuck face, hey, fuck face.
Yeah, and there's love behind it, so it doesn't land unpleasantly. Whereas I've heard yoga teachers say, hello, people, hello, everyone. And you can just feel the tension and the anger and what's going on there. I'd rather they called me a motherfucker at that point.
Yeah, exactly. And I teach this in my meditation teacher training. I teach the power of like language. I'm a neurolinguistic programmer, hypnotist as well. And it's like, it's a small percentage of the actual word that you use compared to the body language, and the tone is so important. And just like how you said, it's like, hey, everyone, it can be condescending or it can be welcoming. And I like saying, hey, fuckers, because I can get like whoever is vibing with me are going to stay for that video.
Right.
If you're not vibing with me.
Right. It immediately goes, is this my audience? So this
Absolutely.
is like, I immediately went, right, I'm following this guy. I didn't have to think twice. And 5 people have sent it to me since because they're like, Mo's going to fucking love this guy. Right. So it's like immediately like, which I can marketing wise is smart, but it's also like, I want students who are a hell yeah or a fuck no. Right.
Absolutely.
Like my worst jokes in a workshop are right at the beginning. You know, I make some jokes about being offended and blue-haired lesbians from Portland. Or so, you know, I make some jokes. And it's like people either leave at that point or they're deeper committed and deeper in. And I go, at this point, I go, okay, great. Now I know these are my peeps. Or they're not. And that's actually a gift to them. Because, you know, they can go to the, you know, the new age vegan thing down the road. That's cool. They'll have a better day than staying with me.
Absolutely. And it's like either one of you not wasting your time on each other that you're not vibing. So that's why I love coming out, hey, fuckers, because, you know, I'm not going to be invited to a podcast that doesn't curse, right? And it's like, I wouldn't want to be on a podcast that doesn't curse because I'm going to drop an F-bomb and people are going to be offended and they're not going to use that podcast. So it helps everybody. And for everybody listening out there, it's like you're not going to be for everybody. It took me time to accept that. It took me time to accept that and be like, I'm going to offend people. People are going to hate me. Some people will love me. Some people will like you. But if you don't have the hate, like it's hard to get the love too.
Right. And it's interesting because like I teach my students this when they're asking me about marketing. I say, look, you've got to be divisive. Because if I said to them, hey, there's a yoga teacher who swears a lot, some people might say, oh, God, he's hardly going to get any followers. He's going to offend so many people. But the truth is, like Yogi _Bryan, Bryan, has you've got loads. You've got 252,000 Instagram followers, right? And, you know, you do stuff. But a lot of that's also because it stands out. And it doesn't stand out. It stands out like it's not like you have to do athletic handstand or something, right? It feels natural.
Yeah, just a normal person. I'm a normal dude that struggles myself, you know, mentally. You know, I practice this for myself, you know, and I go to therapy. I do all this shit, and I like to share my practice. So I don't know everything. You know, sometimes you get some of these like teachers out there that like you feel like they know everything and haven't struggled. It's like, no, I'm fucking right there with everybody. Like I'm struggling. I still do. I still go deep down the rabbit hole of fucking depression sometimes, but I come out of it and I try and help people. So it's like service, you know, trying to help other people, and it just helps yourself as well.
Do you think the yoga world will get more and more sort of differentiated? Because what I've seen over the years is first it was just yoga, then it was Ashtanga yoga and Hatha yoga, then it was acro yoga and Hatha yoga and Ashtanga yoga. And now it's kind of like, you know, yoga with swearing with a particular, you know, for guys with red hats, you know what I mean? Like it gets more and more kind of differentiated. Yeah. And I'm also going, how extreme can it get? You know, like I've seen death metal yoga, goat yoga. I mean, like, is it going to get more and more differentiated and potentially more and more extreme? Because particularly with social media, being extreme is a way to stand out. Like extreme asana, like very, very flexible, extreme beauty, very, very erotic. I've seen extremely outspoken. You know, I'm relatively naturally outspoken and provocative, but I go, God, if I turn this up, I'd probably be even more popular. You know, like if I went really hardcore on this. Is everything just going to get more extreme and more specific, do you think?
I hope so. I mean, yeah, I've heard like when I was in yoga teacher training, I heard that the yoga market's saturated. It's hard to get a yoga teacher job. It's so saturated. And then I read another article that it's not saturated at all. I mean, how many fucking people do you know that actually practice yoga or meditate? It's rare. So it's not saturated at all. Yeah. And it's like, if I love the rock and roll yogas, I love the goat yogas. It's like you're getting people that probably wanted to practice yoga, practicing yoga. Maybe they'll find their breath. Maybe they'll start a meditation practice. And it's just like I said before, if you dabble, if you fuck with yoga just a little bit, it's going to fuck with you back and change your life. So it's like anybody out there, if you want to start a different yoga practice, do it and fuck the haters because they're going to be like, oh, this isn't yoga. Well, it's like if you have the intention to help people, then that's yoga right there. Yoga is everything. So if you have that good intention, fucking do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've often thought, where is that line to say this isn't yoga? Now I saw your stuff. I was like, yeah, this is yoga. This guy's got a good intention. He's working with breath. You know, like I think we can still say, you know, like a cat isn't a chicken, right? Like a semicolon isn't Detroit. like there are things that are different from other things. And I go, for me, the swearing is actually quite a surface thing. It's just like an appearance. It's like, okay, this Buddha's dressed this way. And if you look at the kind of Buddhist model, the Buddha's dressed differently for different audiences. When he goes in the hell realm, he's got a suit of armor on and shit, probably tattoos as well. And it's like, okay, I'm fine with that because that's just appearance. But in many ways, I look at your stuff and go, to me, it feels much more yoga than when I see stuff which is gymnastics or sort of pornography disguised as yoga. and do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, but who am I to say as well? So I'm torn with this one. But I feel like something's got to be not yoga.
Yeah, I feel like when you say, like, when people say this isn't yoga, well, that's fucking not yoga. What you're doing with a judgment, not saying you're doing that, but like if someone is saying to me like this isn't yoga, it's like who the fuck are you?
Yeah,
are you like the yoga police? And that's why I love doing the yoga police. It's like,
tell us about the yoga police.
Yeah, like what's your practice look like? I mean, are you so perfect? And that's the stuffiness that I like to make fun of. And I see, like, whenever I go to the yoga studio, I normally can find one or two memes or one or two like skits that I can do because I'm like, this is so fucking ridiculous. I mean, one time I was teaching, someone got on me because I always start on my right side, right foot forward.
Okay.
And that's just how I was trained. Sure. Right foot forward. And someone was like, right side's masculine, left side's feminine. Like, why don't you start with the left side? And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? I start just with the right side. You're going to start with the left side if you want. Like, sure. It's not serious.
I've never heard of that, and it doesn't surprise me. There's always something to be upset by if you're looking. You know what I mean? There's always something to be offended by. I kind of feel like if you swear, it at least gives people something obvious, It's
right? It's like, oh, he starts on the right side. That's not yoga. Like, you got to start on the left side. It's like there's always some shit. So when someone's like, this isn't yoga, or like taking it so serious like that, it's like, it's just fucking yoga. Like, it's your practice. If you want to start on the left side, do it. Like, I'm just giving you suggestions as a yoga instructor.
Sure,
like,
try this
suggestions. Yeah.
Like, give it a go. Like the class is over in an hour. It's fine. And not the end of the world. And I guess it's because it probably, what I see is that yoga, meditation, in my case, martial arts as well, it saves people's lives, right? Like it takes them out of depression. You mentioned divorce. In my case, it was addiction. It takes people out of some heavy shit, like physically, mentally, emotionally.
Absolutely.
And because it has that power, I think afterwards like sometimes people act like I've kicked their kitten if I critique something, right? Like if we say, and even though we can't say, again, who you say this is not yoga or this is yoga, we could say this is better for this, right? Like you'd probably be more appropriate yoga teacher to me than someone new age with crystals in their ass. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And if it's like trauma-informed yoga, like I might be triggering to you. So it's like, you got to find what yoga resonates with you. That's why I love the fact that if you're going to have all different types of yoga, I love it because somebody's going to be there for you.
Right. Yeah. And from a trauma point of view, by the way, I find you far less triggering than the new age wankers. Far less triggering. Because I feel like, hey, this guy's real. It's safe. I can relax into that personally. So
thank you. I am trauma informed. I've trained in trauma informed and hypnotherapy. So
cool. Yeah, so you've done NLP, hypnotherapy, like a few kind of adjunct things as well, yeah? Yes. And what are some of your favorite things? Like I know a lot of the meditations I've seen you do, maybe it's just because the format, but they were super simple, practical. There was a bit of fun in there too. But like, what are some of your favorite techniques, things you find really effective?
I mean, I love the hey fucker part. I mean, that's just pretty much like an instant induction into like hypnosis. Hey fucker, like right here, just like snapping my fingers. Like, I got your attention. Now you can take one mindful breath with me and get the fuck on with your day. So I'm like really aggressive there, where like it could be a little triggering. I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay and watch you. And it's like, holy shit, I just took a mindful breath with you and I feel better. So it's like that type of hypnotherapy, just really quick, a minute meditations, and I just do those on social media. Like I have a Relax with Yogi Bryan podcast that are all clean and they're long form meditations. And that's like does its own views and has its own audience. Then I have like my cursing meditations, which I get another audience that never meditated before, but they like the word fuck. And then I got the on the social media that are like minute meditations. So it's like I'm using meditation in so many different ways.
Right.
I put them on YouTube as well. So it's like getting everybody there. But I love the fact that instant, like, hey, fuckers, got your attention. Okay, let's take a breath, then fuck off with your day.
And I discovered you for Instagram, and I feel like the mediums we're using are different, right? Like we have a podcast, I do face-to-face workshops, I have an Instagram. Like those mediums lead to different kind of approaches just by the time and the level of attention, and you know what I mean? It's very different me turning up to yoga studio for a 90-minute class with you than me flicking on Instagram in my lunch break and just like wanting kind of something fun to look at for a minute while I have my lunch.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what platform are you on? And then you have to make the content appropriately. I love just being a creator as well. I love all the different platforms and content. That's one of the things that gets me going in life is just creating, and also like helping the world release fucks.
What do you think we give too much of a fuck about? Like what are the main fucks you love to help the world release?
Gosh, I think it's like worrying about fucking other people. Like I feel like the majority of people don't mind their own fucking business, me included, right? So it's like just fucking worry about yourself. Worry about what's inside your yoga mat or your meditation cushion. And it's like that would reduce so many fucks for everybody. Is just worrying about their fucking self. Me included. I need to do this as well. It's like anything I practice or I teach, it's like I have to do it first, you know?
I've got a lot of students who are interested in people pleasing. I've been asked to do a course on people pleasing soon. And it's, this is Mark Manson's book, How Not to Give a Fuck. That seemed kind of aligned with my way, your way, and his. And it just seems like most of my students, and I've never really had that. My personal story was for various reasons, I kind of gave less of a fuck. And that's been tremendously liberating for me. But I see it crippling many of my very talented, cool, lovely students who are really holding themselves back. They don't have a lot of confidence. They're not putting their stuff into the world in a big way. And I think it's because they give too many fucks.
Absolutely. And I'm like a recovering people pleaser myself. And I love Mark Manson's work. I love his work. Books are awesome. Another book I love is Atomic Habits. Mm-hmm. And James Clear says, I went to like one of his talks, and he said that he asked himself every day, it was just a new habit for him. He asked himself every day, like, what do I want? Like, not, what do I want? And he said he asked himself that over and over throughout the day. It's like, what do I want in this situation? What do I really want? And that really helped me to like break through being a people pleaser. It's like, well, what the fuck do I want in this situation? Being healthy, selfish, right? It's like, maybe I want this because I want to please them. It's like, but what the fuck do I really want? And that was a great question. I just wanted to share that with your audience.
I love it.
It really helped me out.
Yeah, what do I want? I noticed a lot of students they don't know. And I start them off on little things like when you go to a restaurant, like actually tune in, what do you want to eat? Do you want to eat? Are you even hungry? Like starting them off on little things, there seems like there's a few skills, this kind of like feeling what you want. And then there's sort of having the courage to say it, maybe to say no to other people. There's a few kind of related skills that I've seen that seem to be in there. But if someone said to you, how do I not give a fuck? Like, give me the specifics. Because for me, it's just kind of come naturally. It came from an alcoholic dad. And at a certain point, I just went, fuck this. I don't give a fuck. Other people's opinions were coming left, right, and center as a kid. And at a certain point, I just went, fuck all that, which was a huge liberation. And I people that haven't had that experience, like, what are the specifics for giving less fucks?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it can go so many different ways. I know for me and what I teach is a lot of journaling. It's like how you said, you don't know what you want, or if they don't know what they want, it's like, okay, we'll write it out. I love, thinking on paper. It's like, well, get it out of your head and put it on paper. and then figure out what the fuck you want. I love morning pages. So I tell my students a lot to do morning pages, and that's part of my meditation teacher training is a journaling session, at least 15 times throughout the month, is like get your bullshit out on paper. It's so therapeutic to like see what the fuck is in your head. And then you can see like, because, with meditation and a lot of hypnosis, it's all about awareness. So you got to be aware of what the fucks are to have a choice to consciously make a change. So if you don't know what the fuck is bothering you, what are your fucks are, how are you going to change it? When I first started podcasting with my friend Pedro, we did the Yogi show. I had a stutter, and I didn't realize that I stuttered until I watched myself. And then I had to figure out how the fuck not to stutter. So I had to look and research ways not to stutter. And it said, slow the fuck down. And it's okay to have pauses. So that is a way for me that I release the fuck of like my communication. So it's awareness. Get your fucks down on paper, even if you have to burn it afterwards or shred it afterwards, or however you're going to be aware of it. Meditate, do yoga. First step is become aware of what fucks you have, and then you have the power to change it.
Yeah, nice awareness. It's all awareness and choice, isn't it? People can't change what they're not aware of. With the fuck thing, I thought, welcome to the Open University, where you are a specialist subject of fuckery. So with the fuck thing, do you think there'll come a time when it gets tiring, boring, you'll drop it, you'll turn it up or down a notch? Like where's that going to be in 5 or 10 years?
Yeah, sometimes I get tired of it myself. I do the same. Most of my videos are similar. So it's like, there's going to be a time where I'm going to change it up, and it's going to be whatever natural, universal flow of it. I mean, I started the Instagram account with doing myself, like I was doing poses and making up my own poses and making fun of it. And then my content got into memes. I won a meme contest on one of my friends' accounts. And then I got into memes, and I grew my account just by memes. And then it was memes and me doing skits on TikTok, just doing TikTok skits, yoga police. And then I found the meditation, just going like, hey, fucker. And then that has been helping the world and just doing good with content. But I mean, I have the podcast that I just do clean meditations. I have my own app with clean and dirty meditations. So like that's my main focus, is like leading guided meditations that way on my app. The whole Instagram thing, that's fun for me. And I love like hitting that base and helping people that way. But it really, and I'm feeling it lately. I'm not as excited about those videos, because I'm like, I've done fucking almost everything that I can think of with these quick meditations. Like, what's next? There's a
lifespan to it. That's what I wondered. It sounds like there's a kind of natural flow with what you're doing, following what you're interested in. I noticed, kind of being a provocative character on social media, primarily Facebook with me, that there was a time that there was something called audience capture. That there's a certain persona I was playing, and it wasn't fake, it was authentic, it was definitely part of my personality, but any persona is only ever a part. There's another part that's not being portrayed, shown, branded. And I noticed that part of me kind of grew, and it almost created a shadow. And it was almost like the audience were wanting it more, and not always in my interest. They were kind of poking me to say something politically provocative. And I'd poke the bear around yoga a little bit, and I'd be, yoga wankers and 5 signs you're a yoga wanker and things like this. But it was like, it wasn't always in my best interest career-wise, particularly as I was a little bit of bleeding edge with that. Now you could say things that 15 years ago you would have been thrown out. The yoga police really would have thrown you out of yoga, And I guess there's something about the audience capture, or the way in which our personas get boring. Well, I get bored sometimes of that, a provocative Facebook persona. Maybe it's something interesting in there for you. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I am feeling that. I'm feeling that lately. Like, I haven't been posting as much to TikTok and Instagram. I'm feeling more of like the comedy side, but I go back and forth. It's like, because I do stand-up comedy, just dabble in it. Like I'm not like on tour or anything like that. But like I fuck around with comedy and I love making funny yoga content. But at the same time, it's like that balance of like, am I just a funny comedian clown? And then you're not gonna respect me in terms of the meditation and the hypnotherapy. So it's always that balance there. And I feel like lately, it's like I'm like oversaturating the content. So it's like I'm gonna start doing like how to's, like how to meditate, 3 steps to do this, and more of like helpful, throwing the fuckery in there as well. So that's it's always like, for me, it's always evolving, and it's always thinking of the audience first. So
right.
Like what do the audience need? How can I resonate with them to get my message out? Because my underlying goal is to help the world release 100 billion fucks. So that's my ultimate goal. So the content and the delivery changes, but it's always that goal. So whether or not it's podcasts or this or that, who knows what the fuck's going to create in the future? If it's Snapchat or TikTok, I was heavily on TikTok, and then that kind of died down, and now I'm like heavily on Reels. And then it's like I'm oversaturating myself with the videos that I'm doing because I'm not as excited about them. So it's like, what's next? And how can I resonate with my audience?
Yeah, you can have 2 channels. Fuck around and find out.
Exactly.
I thought about that. So we're just about to launch a channel called Trauma Cats, and it's basically cats in Ukraine educating people about trauma. And it's just a stupid fucking idea. I think it's going to be ridiculously popular. And I know it will have a lifespan. I know after a year, 2 years, I'll get sick of, Stephen Porges is one of the kittens' names, and Belly Vanderstrokes. They've all got cute names. But it's like, I know it'll have a lifespan. And after a couple of years of doing Trauma Cats, I might like want to do something different or make the channel more serious or, change it.
Absolutely.
From adults or something, But,
you have to evolve. Like you have to evolve or it's going to die. And that's how my content's been. It's like, it's going to evolve. I might do more yoga content, more tutorials. I have no clue. I might not even do that much on Instagram anymore. Focus on YouTube. It just, wherever the audience is at, and however I can help the world release 100 billion fucks.
Let's do a hard turn because I'm bored of this topic. So you mentioned divorce earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've heard very few people talk about this. 50% of people have a divorce. It seems actually more than 50%. It's 50% of marriages, right? So second marriage is probably over 50. It seems super painful for a lot of people. A lot of my audience is middle-aged, so they may well have been through it or going through it. I'd love to get your thoughts on sort of yoga and meditation in that context, because you kind of don't hear about it in the traditional Buddhist context, right? It's kind of a modern thing. But it seems like one of the worst things people can go through in terms of their suffering.
Yeah, it's terrible. I've been through it twice. And my first divorce, that was going through when I first started practicing yoga. It was, child custody stuff. At the time, my son was 4 or 5. And I was just so fucking angry just at the situation. Attorneys, lawyers, the whole fucking system sucks. And so I was just very angry. I did not like my ex-wife at the time. It's funny. My ex-wife and I and my son, we just went to Disneyland for the weekend and spent time together. And we hated each other for 6 years. We literally hated each other for 6 years. And I can say hate because we didn't like each other. We would do drop-offs and just not look at each other. But we never like talked bad about each other to our son. Like we always kept that. We always kept that like he didn't really know about it. But yeah, for 6 years we couldn't stand each other. And there was a lot of like resentments and like but I ended up practicing yoga, doing meditation, and a fuck ton of therapy. I always recommend, anybody out there, I try to do the whole yoga meditation thing to just cure all my shit. And for me, yoga meditation wasn't enough. Like I needed fucking professional therapy. I needed hypnotherapy. I needed to learn hypnotherapy, and also needed fucking medicine too, and a psychiatrist. So I'm all about like a full integration of your mental health, not just yoga meditation. Some people, maybe that's great. And maybe that's enough. But for me, and from what I've talked to some other people out there, it's like you might need other shit. So that really fucking helped me out, like getting back to where I'm at today and having a great relationship with my first wife, which is almost like a miracle. I never thought that would happen. And I can credit it to yoga, meditation, therapy, and meds also. So yeah, divorce is tough. And I get a lot of people that are just attracted to me that are going through breakups just because, that's the energy I'm putting out. So yeah.
There's a certain kind of pain I see in people. It's like the same with veterans, right? Like I've worked with quite a few veterans, a few war zones, and there's a kind of vibe that they give off, like the 1,000-yard stare kind of thing. But like divorcee is not quite the same, but it's almost the same. Like in terms of like worlds of pain, I have to start thinking about things like war to get anywhere near in terms of what I see it does to people.
Yeah, it's
betrayal and the fact that you're caught in something. I've got female friends who I have to see this guy every fucking day. It's like there's not just like if there's a kid involved, it's not like they could just walk away. And there's something about that extended suffering that's really hard for people. But equally, like I've also heard these stories of people being forced into a level of growth because there's no escape. Like a kid is a marriage, even if you have got a piece of paper saying you're divorced.
Exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a few quick fires then. So just off the top of my head, I'll say something and either say fuck it or, I don't know, namaste. Okay?
Okay.
So I haven't got a list of these or anything like that. So I don't know, Bali.
Barley?
Yeah, Bali. The island of Bali.
Oh, Bali. Fuck yes.
Okay, so we're going to do a fuck. How about we do a fuck yeah or a fuck no? How about that?
Okay, I love that.
For everything. Okay, let's do a couple of locations then. New York City.
Fuck yes.
California.
Fuck yes.
Oh, first one I disagreed with. Let's go green smoothies.
Fuck no.
Fuck no. Steak and chips.
Fuck yes.
Fuck yes. Handstands.
Fuck no right now.
Fuck no. Tattoos.
Fuck yes.
Cock rings.
Fuck no.
Yoga chicks.
Fuck yes.
Yoga dicks.
Fuck no.
Anyone you want. You pick the last one.
Yoga pants. Fuck yes.
On you or someone else?
Both. All around. Everybody
all around. It's just comfortable.
So, I like them on. I like seeing them.
I felt so uncomfortable today, and then I realized what had happened. I put on a pair of trousers with a belt, and since COVID, that's so fucking rare for me. Normally, because I wear a shirt for work. It's kind of my professional attire when I work. I like to put a shirt on so I can take it off at the end of the day. But I'm wearing jiu-jitsu pants or yoga pants or just comfortable ass trousers. Because I left the house this morning and I got a belt on, and it's the weirdest feeling.
It is. Yeah. Anytime I have to put on jeans too, I'm like, I fucking hate my life.
Jeans?
Too tight.
Too tight. Far too tight. Okay, Let's wrap this up. You got some retreats and stuff coming up?
Yeah, I got a retreat in Costa Rica in May. It's sold out. And then Bali in August, that's sold out too. But next February, Costa Rica, that'll be open. It's not open yet.
That's and then Costa Rica, right?
So fuck yeah. And Greece and Peru are coming up next year. So stay tuned, everybody. They're not out just yet, but maybe if you're listening to this, they'll be out. Check out Yogi Bryan.
Get ahead, man. Well done on your success. I've been enjoying it from afar. And I'll see you on Instagram. And your Instagram one more time for people that want to follow you there.
Sure, yeah. Yogi_Bryan, Bryan.
Bryan. That's the different spelling of Brian than normally in the UK. And your website's the same, right?
Yeah, yogibryan.com.
Beautiful. And do you want to give us a short closing fuck meditation to finish?
Sure, yeah. Just wherever you're at, just take a fucking seat or lie down real quick. This will be a real quick meditation. Close your eyes. Relax your fucking tits. Relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders. Whole body starts to relax. And in just a moment, we'll take a nice deep inhale through our nose And then we'll exhale, open the mouth, sighing it the fuck out, releasing all our fucks. Let's do it. Mouth closed, breathe in through your nose. Exhale, open the mouth, sigh it the fuck out. There you go. But now you can fuck off with your day.
Thank you so fucking much. Fuck off. Catch you later.
Sounds good.
Right, Walsh, if you like that, you'll probably like embodimentunlimited.com and our app. So on both of these things, you can get a bunch of podcasts that aren't available here, some exclusive ones with some big names, some people you'll probably recognize that are over there. There's a copy of my book, PDF, my first book on embodiment, which seems that people like. I sold quite a few copies on Amazon, but there's a free copy there. What else is there? Loads of videos of me coaching embodiment, resources on trauma, on meditation, on yoga. And you can also chat to people without going on Facebook or any of that nonsense. So if you want to chat embodiment with people, that's there. And it's on the embodimentunlimited.com, all free, and the app available at the App Store and all that good stuff. So if you like this, do check those out.